Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about the great fracturing, and I want to talk about the huge opportunity that's available to Vivek Ramaswamy to win the 2024 U.S. presidential election. So we have this terrible occurrence that's happened recently. So one of the things that it is truly astounding what has happened under President Joseph Biden. For the first time since World War II, Americans have very genuinely believed they were very close to World War III. I think we had a slightly similar situation in with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? But I think people were not highly worried about that because of what happened with John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was a strong president, did not project cowardice, weakness, and doddering ineffectiveness the way our current president does. Truly astounding to me that anybody could even possibly, like, can you imagine how incredibly privileged and wealthy and comfortable your life would have to be to trust President Joseph Biden with anything? Like, you'd have to be just wrapped in so much privilege, wealth, and it would be astounding. But there are people. It is true. Like, all the problems that we are suffering from right now, there are people who are very shielded from it and live such sheltered lives that they're not feeling the pain at all. And that's the only way you could possibly get to actually being willing to vote for 4 more years of this chaos that we've been dealing with, is that your life is so privileged and sheltered from wealth that you don't worry, about literally the eruption of World War III. I think you'd also have to just have some fundamental denial of reality mixed in there. It's pretty astounding. Um, but there are people. It is truly amazing me that people are like, well, we don't really need a president who can complete paragraphs reliably. Like, it's man. Let me stay focused. All right, so Vivek Ramaswamy needs to beat Donald Trump, right? He needs to communicate to the American people that he can literally change the world, because that's what we're really going for right now. We're looking for a president who can change the world. And there's this massive opportunity, right? And so where are we right now? So President Joseph Biden has done such an incredible job of cocking up American safety and the economy. Like, we are literally on the brink of World War III. And Bloomberg, great news source in many ways, not always, but they have some good articles, right? And they did this article about the great fracturing, and they explained that the global supply chain is dead. It's finished. It is not. There's not going to be any more like work. Be like, there were nations that America would be like, oh, hey, you manufacture those goods, we'll buy those goods. You know our money's coming. We know your goods are coming. That relationship is dead. It's finished, right? We can't rely on any nation to manufacture anything we need. We had a period in President Joseph Biden's term where literally tens of thousands of brand new $80,000 American, Ford F-150s were just sitting in lots all over the country because they couldn't get the chips for them, right? So this great fracturing is guaranteeing that global trade is finished, right? And that means that America's got to produce everything, every single thing. We need to be energy independent, we need to be food independent, technology independent, and simply independent. We have to make everything on our own, right? And in there lies a huge opportunity. So one of the things that maybe is starting to end is the reign of the knowledge worker, right? So the knowledge worker really reigned in America for the last 30 years, right? Technology was king, and the knowledge worker was able to demand salaries much higher than manufacturers. But what we're seeing now is we've reached a point where it's not a debatable subject anymore. We have reached a point where you cannot rely on the ability to we cannot rely on on nations that used to manufacture uh, that used to manufacture. We cannot rely on them to continue to manufacture everything that's needed, right? So America needs to manufacture. And this is happening. We are actually right now building facilities to build our own chips, right? And the thing is, we can drill our own land, drill Alaska, suck every drop of that sweet black crude out from Alaska, right? Drill every American national park. Drill, frack, burn. Let's get it ourselves. We don't need to buy from anybody else. We don't need to buy your manufacturing, any of your manufactured goods. Let's make everything here. Everything. Any other nation in the world, you got problems. America, no problem. We got tons of crude sitting under Alaska, tons of crude sitting under our national parks. We'll suck it out with a straw, frack it up, baby. Done, right? And the same thing we could do with manufacturing goods. There were nations that we relied on to supply us manufacturing goods. Don't need you now. Bye, right? And the nice thing about this is it is terrible. It was great to be able to have relationships with other nations, but President Joseph Biden's like, let's crack the world in half, right? And so that sucks. It really sucks that there were these other international nations, and even though we had huge animosity toward them, and they had huge animosity toward us, the value of capitalism, our ability to spend well in their nation, and their ability to supply manufactured goods for us reliably, it was a good deal. But it's gone. It's dead. It's finished. America goes on its own going forward. And what is the silver lining in that? What can Vivek Ramaswamy use to make that a good thing? Well, that is the rise of the blue-collar king and queen, right? We've had 30 years where the knowledge worker was king, right? But now what do? Like, we can return and we can make factories sing again, and we can build new Detroits, right? Just beautiful smokestack burning, coal burning, oil burning, fossil fuel burning mega factory cities, right? And every single country that used to do this work for us, you can go kick rocks. The American blue-collar worker is coming back. And that can be the message from Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, let's embrace obsidian energy. Let's tell every green energy champion you could go kick rocks until your feet bleed, right? Like, we don't want any of your nonsense anymore. Nobody cares about your EV cars. Sales are going down across the board because it's now clear as day that none of these EV cars can be made at a profit or are any good for anyone, right? Like, and so let's go back. Build the smokestacks, burn every drop of crude we can, cut down every tree. Let's get it done, right? Let the obsidian energy flow, and let's make America truly independent. Vivek Ramaswamy is the right candidate to carry this message. And I think this is exactly the kind of rough red meat for the base that can make Republicans excited about it again. Trust and believe, Republicans will be extremely excited about the return of the blue-collar king, the return of the blue-collar queen in America. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. That's exactly what Vivek Ramaswamy should do to move forward in the polls this week. Announce it, do it, be it. Every single word of that's my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments, and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.